Rimmeru reincarnated into another world by Kischur. Gods. The realm of the gods. A place that exists in another dimension. The sole purpose of the realm is to allow the gods to relax and work, and also to allow them to fight each other, which is currently happening right now. One of the many facilities of the gods' realm is the arena, where the only place where the gods could fight each other, and one of the functions of the arena is to change the size of the stage to be as big as the fighters wants, and to change its own setting, where the fighters could even change the settings to make the stage look like a world is about to explode, to make it look more epic. Of course the male gods would often do this to make it look cool. So right now one of the stages of the arena was set upon a flowery plains, with the size of the places being set infinite, so that they wouldn't accidentally destroy the world. The fighters are three extremely beautiful women, and these three goddesses are Goddess Sophia, Goddess Amara and Goddess Kalita. Goddess of Wisdom Sophia ranks second of the Gods' Council in both power and authority. Goddess of Love Amara rank 8th of the Gods' Council in authority, and rank 7th in power. Goddess of Fire Kalita rank 11th of the Gods' Council in authority, and rank 9th in power. The goddesses were in a fierce fight, so fierce that if they didn't set the world to be infinite, the fight alone would have destroyed the world a 100x over, and you might be thinking, why were they fighting? It's simple really. Just moments ago, like regularly, a child hit the age of 5 years old. This process is quite new to the gods to the point that one would think they would not even took importance of it. But no, to the gods, they take this as great importance to see the young blood and to see if it's worth it to give them a skill or even much rarer a blessing. You see, the gods can be seen as investors, looking to invest into a company. It is also because of that sometimes a person would suddenly get a blessing from a god. But when a child reached the age of 5 and gets a status screen, it is highlighted in the gods' realm for the gods to see if it's worth it to give him her a skill or even a blessing, for that the gods would also see the child's potential and personality. So you can liken the 5-year-olds as companies that just went public. It is because of that, when the results were shown in the gods' realm, and if a person of talent appeared, the gods would fight each other on a bidding war, to be the one who get to give the child a blessing. Of course the prize to give a child a blessing is connected to their talent, making it more expensive for the gods to bid for a child if they are extremely talented. It is also because of this, that sometimes a god would invest in the whole family line, making it so that a child of the line would automatically gain a blessing, with the god with them not needing to give any of their god coins to the child for them to be blessed. Of course doing this is also immense, making it to be extremely rare to see it happen, with the most famous ones being the royal families that existed 2000 years ago. But I know what you're thinking again, wouldn't it be fine to give a person multiple blessings? And the answer to that is no. The reason for this is simple. There's two reasons. The first is, it's extremely expensive for a second god to give a blessing to a child that already have a blessing, with the first god also noticing who gave the second blessing, making it highly likely that the first god would hate second. And the second reason, pride. If a god were going to give a blessed person another blessing, it would be a huge blow to their pride, since it's like saying they admit defeat to the god that gave the blessing first. So because of those two reasons, that a person having 2 or more blessing is virtually impossible. But that all change when the new tempest came. Rimuru Arcadia Tempest. Talent has the power to be or even surpass the gods in every single way. Personality is a hard-working person, and wants everyone to be happy. When this information was released to the gods, they were in shock, since a mortal existed that held the potential to surpass the gods, but more so than that, they were upset. Upset since she is a Tempest, since the Tempest royal family receives Goddess Sophia's blessing, making it so that her influence would no doubt rise up even higher, with her power as well. Since like any investor, they like their invested company to rise and get richer and stronger, and this is the same for the gods, since if their blessed mortal became more and more powerful and as well as influential, the god that blessed them would get stronger as well as their rankings and influence over the gods would become stronger. And of course they will also become richer as well, as result, since the god in question would gain god coins, and this is more apparent if the blessed mortal is extremely talented and his power gets stronger or smarter. Because of this, many gods didn't even bat an eye to the Tempest, since she was already blessed by Goddess Sophia, and they don't want to earn her ire as well, but who have guessed someone placed their bets on the mortal. I give 10,000 god coins to be Rimuru Arcadia Tempest's second blessing. When the voice was heard, all of the gods was turning to the one who said, like she was crazy. As for Sophia herself, She was extremely proud of Rimmeru. Since the first time she saw Rimmeru's soul, she already wanted to see her, and that is also one of the benefits for the gods, they will always what state their blessed person is in. And with her power and influence, Sophia didn't even consider the fact that someone would give her beloved little flower a second blessing, but she was proved wrong by someone who also held the position of the 12 gods. And this person is Amara, the goddess of love, beauty, power and society. Goddess Amara was always famous for her sense rivalry with the strongest goddess, to the point that she would always find ways to always oppose her every decision possible, so it was no surprise that she would also like to give Rimmeru a second blessing. But what surprised them was Amara's utter look of fascination. This confused the gods, but then image of Rimmeru Arcadia Tempest was shown, with that every god in the realm looked at the picture in equal if not even higher amounts of fascination. Of course this isn't because of her physical appearance, but something else, her soul. Souls are things that truly identifies a person, for that reason, it is because of that, the gods don't truly see one's physical beauty, since what they see is the soul itself, since the soul is the truest appearance of the individual, with the soul being tied to one's own personality and ambition. Because of that, if someone held a truly kind personality and a quite an ambition, they to the gods, they will see that person is truly someone beautiful handsome, even if their physical appearance says otherwise. And with that, all of the gods were now placing bets to be the second blessed god for Rimmeru Arcadia Tempest, and the main reason for this now, is not only to invest big to Rimmeru, but to meet her in person, since a god can always go to their blessed individual anytime they want. Damn, I can't let this gods get to her. With that thought, Goddess Sophia then placed a bet to Rimmeru of 1 million god coins, which made the gods stop their betting, since Sophia was now employing a common tactic of stopping having a second blessed god. A protection bet. A protection bet that places an upper limit for bets, because of that a god must place a bet that surpassed the protection bet, and because of the god's pride, this is rarely used ever. But the protection bet is also a double-edged sword, since in order to give a protection bet, the blessed god must give the same amount of god coins to the designated number they set, in order to initiate it, making it so that they would also lose a lot of money in the process, and also the protection bet's money limit can't change, making it the last line of defense for the blessed god. But that didn't deter Amara. When she saw the amount, she merely smiled. It seems that this girl is special to you, Sophia-chan. But too bad for you, this person is my soulmate. I bet 10 million coins. With that declaration, a large portion of Amara's wealth vanished. And just like that, her symbol appeared beside Sophia's own, making her scowl, but worse of all, her declaration, this person is my soulmate. It was quite well known that most love deities would sleep around quite a lot, with either gods or mortals, making them be either looked down upon by goddesses or be incredibly sought after by gods, but not for Amara. Amara is one of the few rare love deities that doesn't sleep around. In fact, she herself is a virgin, making her silently be ridiculed by the other love deities, and this is more so, when she herself doesn't even have a husband or a lover. Of course this topic was brought up to her, when a goddess asked question a few thousand years ago. Hey, Lady Amara, why haven't you gotten a husband or a lover? This question came from one of the 12 gods, Darlina, the goddess of innocence. Goddess of Innocence Darlina, rank 12th of the Gods' Council in both power and authority. Right now currently, the two is walking together in a hallway, making the other gods see them, which they didn't comment on, since this is a rather common sight since Darlina is the only goddess, or if not the only deity for that matter, to be universally loved, even for the mortals loved her. But when the passing gods heard Darlina's innocent question, they all stopped to hear Amara's question to that universal question. Oh. Well, I am waiting for someone. If the other gods didn't paid attention them talking about why Amara is still single, now this made them stop what they were doing to look at Amara curiously. Waiting for someone. Yes. You might not know this, but highly skilled gods of love, has an ability to see the red string of fate. Now that was newfound information, since not many people truly knows the abilities of the love deities, since their power is not that showy. Red string. Why do you have an ability to a string? Because of how it was worded, anyone who says it would look like an insult, but this was Darlina we are talking about. Darlina's voice was the thing that changed the intentions of insult and mocking, to curiosity and innocence. Of course Amara herself wasn't really offended, since she knows of Darlina's boundless innocence, and that she herself also doesn't know what is the difference of good and evil, and even a compliment and insult, since to her everything is the same. No silly giggles, what I am talking about isn't a piece of string. Then what is it? She asked curiously, while cutely tilting her head, making everyone close felt like their heart was struck with an invisible arrow. FFUA. I know that Darlena-chan is cute, but not this much. Amara thought, but she was able to quickly recover from the shock. Well, the red string of fate is a piece of red string that connects with your destined one, or the person you are destined to fall in love and have a family with. Now that was something that surprised the gods. So, Amara Onichan is waiting for her destined one. To this Amara quietly nodded. Yes. When I meet or see my destined one, I will take him or her, and I will never let go. With that declaration, a rumor was spread that Amara was waiting, and after a few thousand years, that declaration was once again brought out again, with Amara declaring Rimmeru being her destined one. But still though, for love to be connected to multiple girls, truly expected of you loved, Amara thought to herself. With that declaration, Sophia didn't even object, since even she herself wouldn't block true love, and she herself seeing how Amara was looking at Rimmeru, she couldn't object, of course she couldn't feel any better about it. Well, I need to settle something with her now, Sophia quietly thought, with her also gripping her armchair strong to the point that scratch marks was appearing, but then another unexpected person also bet. Then I will bet 5 million coins, to be her third blessing, now that caught everyone's attention, except for Amara who was giggling, since she already know who did it. Goddess Kalita, the goddess of fire, glory, swordsmanship and martial arts. And just like that all hell broke loose. Kalita was known to have a really bad relationship with Sophia, unlike Sophia's relationship with Amara being that of rivalry, but they still respect each other and wouldn't make fun of each other. But Kalita was different, she would use anything to bring down Sophia, to the point that she would even blackmail her if she gained blackmail material. But with how protective Sophia is of her life. With that no one bet against her, and with that, it was finished. Sophia, Amara and Kalita then left the bet stage, with no one commenting on it. You think I will be happy of you giving her your blessing? Sophia yelled at Kalita with her fist covered in divinity, going to punch Kalita, but the person in question was able to perfectly dodge it, with Sophia's punch being thrown to the ground, making the whole stage shake. You truly deserved your strongest goddess position. Kalita yelled back and then covered her index and middle finger in fire and then slide her right to the left, perfectly creating a line of fire, but that position would be mine in the future. With that, countless fireballs or even fire beams came out of the line and came straight to Sophia. But this didn't work against Sophia, who only brought her left arm up to meet with the barrage of flames, and then all of them stopped like they were met with a barrier. With that, a beautiful spear appeared before her hands. Just the spear. Lyra, the divine spear of Sophia. With her spear in hand, Sophia then spit around, making the fire go to the tip of the spear and spin around it, and with that she then thrown her spear to Kalita, who by then summoned her sword to block the incoming attack. Just the sword. Abaddon, the divine blade of Kalita. Kalita then raised her blade to block the incoming spear thrown, but what she didn't expect was the strength of the spear. When the spear collided with the blade, Kalita's feet was blown out of the ground, with her body being sent to fly, since the shockwave of the attack was far too strong for her to block. How? Kalita bewilderedly thought, while her body was flown to the air. Sophia, not wanting to miss this chance, quickly gathered her divinity on her feet, and then run toward Kalita, so just that she merely hit light speed, and when Kalita saw her, she was far too late. Sophia, seeing that Kalita saw her and was able to gather divinity all over her body to defend, merely smirked, and then she exploded her divinity on her feet to propel her towards her intended target, and with that, like teleporting, she instantly appeared before Kalita and then raised her left hand, which was covered in divinity, and then hand palmed her chest, and with that an explosion appeared just behind Kalita, and with that Kalita was down for the count. What Sophia did to Kalita is an advanced form of energy manipulation. By covering her left palm into her own divinity and then injecting it inside Kalita, she was able to make it explode, and since Kalita's body was covered in her own massive amounts of divinity to protect herself, Sophia was able to mess with her own divinity, to make Kalita's divinity to go unstable and make her divinity explode, knocking her out. With that, Sophia then looked at her rival, Amara, who was only smiling at the battle before her. So would you also want to tangle now? To Sophia's question, Amara then summoned 8 pieces of papers, with the writings of destroy, all of them circle each other forming a ring before her eyes. No. I am just waiting for the two of you to finish, Amara said to Sophia with her everlasting smile still present, and with that all eight glowed pink in color, making it known to Sophia that she is ready to fight. With that Sophia then picked up her spear, to ready herself to fight Amara. With that, two papers then flew at high speeds at Sophia, who decided to dodge it to avoid damage, which is the right call, since the papers run past her and without further ado exploded just behind her, making Sophia shiver in fear at Amara's destructive capabilities. That's right. Love deity's powers are tied to the emotion called love, Sophia grimly thought, since right now, Amara could be called the second strongest goddess, if not even the strongest right about now. This is the reason why Sophia doesn't want to openly antagonize Amara, and just accept their friendly rivalry, since the more love there is in the mortals, the more powerful Amara would get. Because of that, in her own refined manipulation of energy, she was able to become one of the 12 main gods. And then she was able to see her soulmate, since as Rimmeru, she was able to experience love herself, making her own power rise to the point of absurdity. Right now, I need to fight her with my full power. With that, Sophia then channeled her divinity to cover herself and then casted multiple enhancement magic on top of that, to be able to fight at full strength. So Sophia Chan sees me as a strong opponent, truly an honor, well it's rude to not respond in kind. With that she also covered herself in divinity and casted multiple enhancement magic on top of herself to be able to match and hopefully exceed Sophia's overwhelming power. With that Sophia then rushed towards Amara, who then fired off 3 papers to Sophia. Seeing the speed of the papers flying at her, Sophia decided to deflect one of the papers and then rushed towards Amara again, and on top of that exploded her divinity on her feet to appear before Amara. But to her surprise, she didn't look any bit of fear or even anxious. With that Amara then raised the remaining papers to block Sophia's next blow, who thrusted the spear to go to Amara's chest and with the added effects of exploding her divinity in her arms to boost her strength and speed beyond her limits. But to her surprise, the papers didn't budge or moved one bit, they held firm to defend their creator. She gained this much strength just because she found her destined one. It was truly absurd on Sophia's point of view. Shit. If I didn't used my whole strength to not move, she would have figured it out. I am just bluffing. But it was a different story for Amara. In truth she was faking it. It is true that she gained immense strength because she found her destined one, but she didn't gain enough strength to treat the blow as nothing. She really is the best user of Mana Burst. Single quote. Mana Burst, a skill that allows its user to use mana or any kind of energy to enhance one's physical abilities past its limits. On how it is done, mana is used to cover the entire body to enhance it, and then explode the mana of a specific body part to make its physical abilities go past the user's physical abilities for a short period of time. Of course, despite the power of the skill, it have some downsides. Which is that it needs crazy amounts of mana to operate and used. Since the skill constantly uses mana to operate and protect the user. And mana is even more important if the user wants to gain a huge bursts of power in a small period of time, and the second weakness of the skill, is that it needs a skill energy manipulator. The person using it must have insane capabilities of manipulating energy. Since one wrong move, the best outcome would be the skill disabled or turn off. But for the worst outcome, the user would explode because of the mana that the user is bathed in. Well, I am also plenty skilled in the abilities, but let's get serious, come back. With that the 3 papers that was previously thrown, turned around and then went to attack Sophia's unprotected back, and with the use of mana burst, the papers flew the speed that at much light speed. But Sophia was able to notice it. Wait. Is she trying to defeat me no matter what? Sophia herself knows that, because of Amara's current level of power, the papers would be able to deal considerable damage against her. With that she then planned on to flee by the use of mana burst to throw herself out of the way and to hopefully also damage Amara with her own papers. But unfortunately, Amara saw through this, and then created 8 pieces of papers on the ground, and with that the papers created a pink energy construct that looks like chains and then wrap itself all over Sophia. And sensing that the 3 papers was getting near, she then teleported herself by the use of papers as well. Shits. Sophia seeing Amara successfully seal her movements, and was able to teleport out of danger, decided to cancel mana burst and just make a strong barrier. With that 3 slips of paper met the barrier and then exploded. The explosion was much stronger than the earlier explosions, but Amara was not done yet. She then created hundreds of papers and then send them all to Sophia, so that she can restrict her movements. But then a beam of energy came out of the explosions and with fast speeds, went for Amara, but with the remaining papers in hand, she was able to defend against the attack. So she was still this strong. Truly scary. Amara commented on the beam attack, since if it was just any ordinary god, she immediately thought they would be vaporized, and just like that she then created more papers to defend herself and then held one paper in behind her index and middle finger. The paper in between her fingers then transformed into a spear. With the spear on hand, and with the steady use of mana burst, she was ready on fighting head-on with Sophia. I need to step down the papers, so that I can fully use mana burst, but it should be fine. With that she then just started to created just 10 or 20 papers, so that she would have more energy to fight against Sophia. Boom. With that, out of the dust cloud came out Sophia, with her clothes battered, and with her spear at hand, she then leapt out of the air and with the help of mana burst was able to appear right before Amara. Let's end this. With that, Sophia then slashed the spear to cut off Amara's arm, but with her shield, she was able to block. Amara then countered with her thrusting her spear right at her head, but Sophia was able to dodge it. She then jumped back making space between them, confusing Amara. Why did she jump backwards? She could have close in and fought in close quarters, since she is better than me in it. Faced with that question in mind, Amara then redid herself for whatever was about to happen. Sophia then took a closer look at Amara and then smirked, and like an action that has already took a couple of times, she then leapt towards Amara and rushed her. Amara, who felt anxious of the sudden attack, created 2 pieces of paper and then launched them towards Sophia to hopefully slow her down. But Sophia simple redirected the papers to go back to Amara, who decided to create a portal to teleport them out of the way of the battle, and with that a mile away from them an explosion was heard, but the 2 simple ignored the explosion. When Sophia was nearing Amara, Amara decided to move back, because of her sensing was wrong, but Sophia then slashed the air, creating a blast of air that was also enhanced by mana burst. Because of the shockwave, Amara was not able to get away and just simple blocked it with her shield, but that was what Sophia wanted. Sophia then appeared before Amara and then thrust her spear towards Amara, who blocked it with her shield. Then suddenly 2 beams of light appeared around the blade of the spear with them rotating around the blade, and with that Amara's shield was destroyed, shocking Amara, and seeing the spear was still coming for her, she then blocked it by swinging her spear at the body of Sophia's spear, deflecting Sophia's attack. Amara, seeing the opportunity, decided to swing her spear upward, to slash at Sophia, but Sophia was able to dodge by jumping backwards and then leaping back in the prey. With her spear ready she then thrust her spear multiple times at Amara, who only blocked or deflected the attacks. Amara, getting tired of her defending, decided to dodge to the right to leave to get an opportunity to attack. But Sophia, already predicting this, slashed at her dodging body, making blocked, but then she lowered the blade of the spear to the lowered part of the spear and then put her strength to swing at the right, successfully throwing away the spear away, and with that she then back away her spear and then thrusted her spear at Amara's neck, but at the last second she stopped. I won. To this Amara just sigh and then sat down on the ground exhausted. What pant did you think? Pant? Amara asked Sophia while panting. Well, I don't mind you meeting Rimmeru, but I am still hesitant for the 2 of you getting together. Right, the whole reason for the 2 to fight, was simple for Sophia to evaluate if Amara truly is worthy of Rimmeru, while Sophia's fight with Kalita, was simple that of a grudge. You don't have to worry I will not force her in a relationship with me. To this Sophia just nodded at her words, completely trusting her. And besides, we can just share her, since we are gods after all, and that polygamy is very widespread as well. That was another thing. Sophia already knew the impact that Rimmeru gave to the gods, and knew many of them fell in love with her, because of her beauty, so she was limiting just a few select people to truly be able to meet Rimmeru and hopefully not make Rimmeru fell for them. Quote. Sure. With that Sophia then approved of Amara, with her also saying she would be the second wife, while Sophia herself is the first and main wife. With that, Rimmeru have already created a harem, without even doing anything. Truly he knows she truly is such a perfect existence.